It's time for What's Sunday, Pre-Market PulseScan, where we look at this week's markets and how our head trader Dex is going to play it. All right, it's time to look at those pulse waves. How's your weekend going, Dex?
Outstanding.
All right, cool, man.
How about yourself?
Yeah, it's going pretty good, man. It's warm. I had to put the ACs in because it's hot. But you told me it's like 90 by you, right? I'm complaining because it's 80 here. It's 80 degrees, and I'm like, oh, forget it.
Yeah, you don't have no problems over there with you, man. You ain't got no problem.
Yeah, I was throwing the ACs in, and then you told me it's 90. Holy cow! But anyway, man, what's cracking? So we've got the our 5 pulse wave price trigger sheets that we put out every weeknight, starting Sunday through Thursday, and we've got our crypto sheet, our forex sheet, the indices, the equities, and the futures. So we're going to look at things that have rally or crash alerts, starting with the rally alerts, right? So what are we looking at, man? Tell me. I'll pull it up, and you tell me what you're seeing there. And then after we've done that,
I'm going to do something just a little bit different.
Oh, all right. Let's do this. This is very exciting. What are we doing?
Yeah, that way people can get a full orb view of what it is that we're talking about.
Okay.
So I say let's go ahead and do that. All right. So first and foremost, I want to pull up a couple of charts and just look at the weekly charts.
Okay.
All right. That's what I want to do. And then after we go over a couple of weekly charts, then we can go into what say the algos.
All right.
So that way you can see the difference between the algos and just looking at a chart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, because you were just saying before we got on that charts are helpful, but that doesn't tell the whole story of what's in the algos.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And, I can't stress this part enough. The charts that we use when we do these videos, it's just for illustrative purposes only. These charts have absolutely nothing to do with the system in any aspect whatsoever. I know people think that, but it's not. I came up with these particular chart design ideas because I found it much easier for people to follow along as I talk about certain markets and things of that nature.
Right.
It helps give them like a really good visual of the price action. That's why we use the charts, and I have people set the charts up to look like the ones we do in the video, just because it's really easy.
And for stop losses. Yeah,
because it's if I told you, run up yonder and hand me that doohickey, you'd be like, what? But if I say, okay, I need you to run up yonder to that oak tree right there, the big oak tree, and underneath of it, you're going to see a white pail. Bring me that doohickey. Now you understand what I'm saying because I painted you a picture. I didn't just talk at you. I actually gave you specific landmarks, and I gave you a pictorial example. Well, that's what these charts are for. These charts are just a pictorial example of the price action. So it helps you to really see it and put what you're seeing into a certain perspective.
Right.
The algos is a whole separate thing in and of itself. It has absolutely nothing to do with the system. The algos is totally different. The charts are totally different. So if you thought they were one and the same, I think that's where a lot of people get confused.
Oh, no, yeah, totally.
Because they think that the charts that we're using is the system, and it has nothing to do with the system. If you saw the algos, you probably see like 1 billion dots on the screen, and you'd be like, what in the world? You can't understand that. So rather than do that, we use these charts to paint that picture. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't want people to get confused thinking, oh, this is easy. Okay, this is the system. Okay, I got
it. No, there's a lot more under the hood.
This is not 20. These charts that we put up here is not 20 years of study. All right. To be quite honest with you, that these charts come with any charting package at most brokerage firms. So I did not create the indicators we use in these charts.
No, these are fairly standard. A few customized tweaks, but fairly standard.
Exactly.
No.
So I just want to throw
Yeah, we
that
show
out.
people how to set these up in a 5-minute video as soon as they join, so that they could
Yeah.
follow along with us, and that's what these are for.
Yeah. And
So
then
what charts you want to look at first?
All right, we'll start with what you got up right here now.
Yeah, we've got the weekly
All right.
Bitcoin,
Weekly
and
Bitcoin.
it's coming back again, which is nice to see.
Yes, and we're hitting. We're in that cumulus cloud of death.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and in
That's
the
this
cumulus
red
cloud of
cloud
death,
here.
you can anticipate that there's going to be volatility. There's going to be enormous, sometimes gigantic price discrepancies in there, and a lot of whipsaw action as long as you're in that cloud. Now, there is less than 1% chance at a time where prices will cut through a cloud like a hot knife through the butter.
It's less than 1% of the time. That's interesting.
Yeah, this doesn't appear to be one of those.
Mm-hmm.
This appears to be
so
more.
When you're in this cloud, you're likely to see it bounce around inside it. Most likely.
Yeah.
Occasionally, you'll see would you call that a parabolic move when it shoots through the cloud, or just?
Yeah, it would depend.
Depends on what's going on.
The range of the bar.
This is a huge range here, so if it was gonna shoot through the top, that would be some move.
Yeah, that's a wide cloud.
Yeah.
So for the most part,
and it's weekly.
Yeah. So a lot has to happen.
I'm sure we'd love to see it.
Around.
Some of us would love to see it. Others are wanting more time.
I know, right?
To get more, yeah.
And the thing about it, though, is that, time and price are cousins, but they don't always get along. So
right.
You would think that during a certain time, thus and so should happen with the price, but it just doesn't always pan out that way.
I reposted this last week from one of my Facebook groups. Got any more of those $3,200 Bitcoins? Right? This is from the Dollar Vigilante group.
Yeah, so Bitcoin still has a long way to go. If you look at this weekly chart, it has a long way to go. And I think that it's going to be under some selling pressure as long as it's in that cloud. You're going to rally, you're going to crash, you're going to rally, you're going to crash until the market decides which way it wants to break out of that cloud. Is it going to break out or break down? All right, so you have to be prepared for false movements in that cloud. So if you're long in this trade, like I always say, you want to use the appropriate stops. You want to lock in as much profit as possible, because remember the motto: it's take what you can, give nothing back.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade. So I always stress that people don't be averse to taking profits. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you get stopped out with profit, you can always get back into the market. All right. Just don't get greedy.
Right.
So I want to stress that enough.
Yeah, you got to have a trader's mentality. If you're going to trade it, you got to have a trader's mentality, not a hodler's mentality.
Exactly.
And realize that there's going to be other entries and ways to make more money as it moves. And I think a lot of people have that. There's sort of that, I want to catch it and then I want to hold it forever, and I don't want to miss any moves. And it's like, well, if you're going to trade it, if you want to hodl it, hodl some on the side, and then have some other bag that you're going to trade, because it's two different mentalities, and you can't get bent out of shape about it.
Now, it should be noted that even though, the market isn't technically, really trending yet, this is a retracement. It's what we call a bullish retracement off a bear market.
Mm-hmm.
All right, off bear market lows. So it should be noted that, you do have some trend strength in this, okay?
Yeah.
So you can't ignore that. You also have the bullish momentum still locked in. So this market is locked in, all right, especially on the future side. But I got a caution here. You got a crash alert starting for tomorrow. A crash alert. Cannot ignore the crash alert. Now, I will admit that you've come up really fast, really hard. And, when it comes hard and fast like that, and you get these crash alerts, sometimes it may take, anywhere from, 3 to 5 days for the market to really, catch up, for the negative selling pressure to really take effect. So we're looking for, some pretty massive corrective mode coming in here within the next 3 to 5 days. So let it be noted, you put on notice Sunday night that you do have a crash alert that you need to tend with. So
yeah, there are a lot of crypto crash alerts on the daily.
Yes.
Yeah, not Bitcoin, but a lot of them.
Right. The
lot of
Bitcoin
major
futures
ones
has the crash alert.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, so when I talk Bitcoin, I'm always looking at the futures first, right? Because there's a futures market now.
Yeah.
Now
What's your experience with the relation between the two? I mean, they're not in lockstep.
I was just about to go there for you.
Cool.
All right. So they are. What happens is, what tends to happen is that the futures is the leading price. And because the futures is a derivative of the actual Bitcoin, just like the S&P 500, ETF, or I'm sorry, S&P 500 futures, even the S&P, is a derivative of the S&P 500 cash market. All right. So like the ticker SPY, which is the ETF of the S&P 500, the most widely held and traded ETF in the world, the most liquid ETF in the world, it's going to take its marching orders from the futures market. The reason why futures markets lead the markets and lead the spot markets is because futures, by their very nature, are instruments that take into account future interest rates and storage. All right, because based on commodities structures, you have to have somewhere to store the physical commodities, and then there's you have to take into account interest rates and things of that nature going out into the future. That's why it's called futures or commodity futures, because you're projecting future price, declines or rises based on current market conditions and weather patterns and things of that nature. Well, Bitcoin is not necessarily a commodity because it's not something that has a mother or grows in the ground. Therefore, it's a financial instrument. So we call those financials, because the S&P 500 futures contract is also, it's a commodity futures instrument, but it's not a commodity in the true sense of the word. But even still, commodity futures are the leaders of everything else. So even though they're derivatives, they're still the leaders. So in this case, we're looking at the futures market on the Bitcoin futures, which does have a crash alert. Now, it should be noted that the Bitcoin Cash also has some negative momentum in it, so we cannot ignore that either. So you're looking at
that took off this week. Holy cow!
Yeah, man. So if it continues to run, you still have to mark those alerts, and then you use the price triggers to confirm the correction or the crash or the rally, whatever. In this case, I don't think it's ready to quite pull back just yet, but it's going to be something that's going to have to be watched over the next 3 to 5 days, because I do believe that the correction, when it comes, is going to be shocking, because it has a lot to correct. And we're looking at least a 50% retracement.
Wow.
To build support.
That could hurt. So watch those stops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Excuse me. Barry was asking in the room here, where is the? We used to have the Bitcoin future on the crypto sheet. Is it on the equity sheet now, or is it in a different spot?
I removed it. I removed it off the crypto sheet because I want to keep the crypto sheet, organic.
Pure.
And the crypto sheet is supposed to be for the cash market. Crypto.
So now it's in the equity sheet?
Yeah. Nope. The Bitcoin futures.
Oh, it's in the future sheet.
Right. It's in the future sheet, and it's in the index tab.
Oh,
index
okay,
sheet.
Cool.
Because it's an index. So it's in the index tab, and it's also in the futures tab.
Makes sense.
That's where you'll find the Bitcoin futures. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So gotta take note of those things, and that's the only way I know to tell people how to do it. All right, so since we're in the crypto space, we can go ahead and jump now. Let's take a look, since we talked about the crash alerts. Let's look at all the crash alerts we got, which is everything. Pretty much everything. Just
We're
about
looking at the
everything.
weekly, right? Let's look at the weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, we got quite a few. We got quite a few instruments. Well, I'm looking at the daily right now. You can look at the weekly, that's fine, but I'm looking at the daily.
Oh, you're looking at the daily, okay.
The daily is going to be more effective for tomorrow's trading, tonight and tomorrow's trading. You do have some rally alerts also that you have to take note of on here. And the funny thing is that the Bitcoin Cash has a rally alert on it. And it has that strong trend momentum as well. But the funny thing is that you have to look at the futures. So on this one here, I don't think we're going to get it just yet. And the intraday price inflection point is nowhere near the market. So the market has a lot of movement to do first. Your favorite BNB has a rally alert also.
Which one?
BNB has a rally alert also.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's one to note. That's another popular one.
Yeah, that one was moving today. They had a big move today, a few bucks.
Yeah, you go ahead and pull that chart, the BNB chart.
Yeah, look at that.
Powerful, isn't it?
Nice comeback, yeah.
Yeah, man. See that's a radical chart right there.
Yeah,
it's a radical chart. And
I think I had an order. Let me see against USDT. Yeah, it didn't go quite as high in USDT because I had an order with the last price on the sheet, which was up here. That didn't get filled. The new price is a little lower, so could get filled soon.
Yeah, I think it just might. So you got to keep your eye on that one. All right, so let's see.
And you got to remind people too: crash alert, rally alert, or no, the long entry buy stop when it comes to cryptos in particular. That's your most important indicator. So if you have a few cryptos you want to trade, even if there's not a rally alert or if there is a crash alert or something like that, you could still use the buy stop to get in if you're determined to catch all the moves on that particular coin.
Yes, always remember that the price triggers themselves are the confirmation of the rally and crash alerts. If the price triggers are not hit, then it invalidate the signal. It just didn't confirm it, meaning that the market wasn't ready quite yet to do it. But the price triggers themselves is how you enter the market, regardless of the signal.
Another important one is ETH. We don't talk about ETH enough, but look at where ETH is on the weekly. It's about to run into a
in the cloud yet, and
serious cloud there.
Yeah, see the way it's approaching the cloud and how close that is. This one is running a very big chance of not entering the cloud.
Yeah?
Like the Bitcoin did. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Based on that approach and based on the downward slope, that hard resistance line right there, this one looks like it's going to bump its head and fall back down.
Okay. It does have a crash alert on the daily. So that's one of the reasons I pulled it up. Same thing, Litecoin.
And at the end of the day, prices will do what prices will do. But I'm just saying, I'm taking notice of what I'm seeing here. Yeah. And there's a very, very high possibility that that's exactly what's going to happen. So trade accordingly. That's basically what I'm just saying. Just trade accordingly.
Yeah, watch it. All right, cool. Yeah. Anything else you want me to pull up?
Not on that note. I just wanted to really hit those two because those were really going hard bananas lately. Yeah. So I wanted to really look at those just real quick.
So just to summarize, even though we've got a rally alert on Bitcoin, you want to watch it because the futures are showing a little more choppy.
Yeah, I wanted to show that. That's why I picked that particular chart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just something to think about. All right, let's see other notables here on my watch list. Let's see what I got. All right, let's take a look at, since we're still on the crash here.
Good question for you there in the chat. So we set up with the weekly price and move with the daily. What do you have to say about that, Dex?
Well, the weekly price is very important also. On the weekly sheet, the most important thing, I mean, the whole sheet's important, but lately what I like to do is I like to, when I do these videos, I talk about the daily sheet. And the reason being is because there's a lot of securities, especially new securities, that will not populate on the weekly because there's not enough data
Hmm.
for the system to manifest. So it leaves a lot of securities out. So I switch over to the daily. All right, and let's see what else. All right, since we're on the crash alerts, let's go to other notables. And these are going to be jumping all around the place. For you futures traders, you got a crash alert on lean hogs. We got a crash alert on McDonald's stock. And we have one on IBM, which is interesting. IBM is on there. HubSpot has a crash alert on it. I know that's one that's been in the news recently. Halliburton. Here's a good one. Hack has a crash alert. That's good news because it was getting up there and staying over 40. You don't want that. From a what's the word I'm looking for? From a false flags perspective, you don't want to see Hack over 40. All right, because as long as it's not over 40, then the chances of something nefarious happening is very low. Let's see. Grubhub has a crash alert. Google has a crash alert. GameSpot has a crash alert. It should be noted that GameSpot, its stock is down to $8, man.
Yeah. Wow.
You would think though that it would be doing a little bit better with all the nice hot games that's been coming out lately. But people are just buying their games online now. They're going for the digital content. Now I like
I mean every one of the major consoles has an online store. It's I would never go to the store to buy a game. Like would never occur to me.
Stuff, but I have to admit, I buy all of my games, digital copy. I download them. I think one of the reasons why people like myself like to, buy the digital copies of the games is because I don't have to worry about physical storage, and I don't have to worry about my disc breaking, a CD getting scratched, because when that happens, then the game is bricked, it's unplayable.
Yeah, it's also people want to play something right now, just download it and play it.
Well, that's another thing too. And the other thing is, you got to take the disc in, and I mean, I know that sounds super lazy, but you got to take one disc out to put another one in to play it. And like I said, if it gets lost, stolen, broken, you set on it by accident, you scratch it, or it just starts having errors, there's a high probability of that. And so me being lazy, I don't have to do that. I can go from game to game in seconds. I can say, okay, I'm done with this one, close that file out, and automatically boot up a new game in a matter of seconds.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but I don't have to worry about physical storage.
I think the only physical game I have with my current Xbox is the one that they gave me as part of the bundle.
See?
So, yeah, I mean, I can't. That was the last time I was at GameStop.
And look, you can have hundreds of games in your library.
Yeah.
And whenever you want to play them, you just download it onto your system.
Right.
And
it's
have
quick
that.
now. It's quick now, too. It's not like it used to be.
Some people say, well, you may have 100 games in your library, but your system cannot hold 100 games at once. But if you want to play this game or that game, well, what most people do, like I know what I do.
Yeah, you rotate them.
I think I represent most people. What we do is
no, you're special.
There you go. We have a select number of games. Maybe five or less games on our hard drive at any time that we're playing at the moment.
Right.
For myself, I'm a sports guy. I'm always playing basketball and or football all the time, every day. But then I like to take a break and I like to go on an adventure. So I'm going to shoot something or I'm going to hunt for something. So I put in one of those adventure type games like Skyrim or something. And I go for it. Well, I'm happy, and that's great, right? But it's hurting GameStop because no one's going in and buying the physical copies. Now, don't get me wrong, people like to go in there and trade and sell their old games and try to get credit to buy a new game. I used to do that. It was at one point I didn't even buy new games. I would just trade in old games, get enough credit for it where I could purchase the new game without having to spend any money because I had old games that I didn't play anymore or didn't like them, and
Right.
that's what you did. That's what GameStop was there for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the business model is not sustainable now because now Steam is out. You got Steam.
Yeah, come on.
Steam is all digital. You know.
Yeah.
So GameStop has to kind of
not to mention mobile gaming is so enormous.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
And it's only going to get better. I was at the Apple store looking at watches this week, and my wife and we only had our little one, which is it's fun to have just one of the kids sometimes, you know. So we had our little one. So they were in that little corner where they have the iPads out, and I come over. My wife is there, and she has this it looked like a PlayStation controller attached to an iPad, playing some game. You know, it had the DualShock joystick things. Did I use the right word?
Yes.
But yeah, I thought it was funny, and it's like, yeah, this is the kind of stuff they're putting right in the store. I think Apple is trying to up where they're going with the mobile, so that you could really game, and the graphics are just incredible on the mobile now. So,
well, see, here's the thing. Here's where mobile has stolen a big market share. It's because they've come out with these emulators also. You can't buy them in the States. You got to get them out of China.
Mm-hmm.
There's a handheld system called a G as in George, P as in Paul, D as in David, GPD.
Mm-hmm.
GPD is an amazing handheld system. It looks like it looks like a game. It looks like a Game Boy or 3DS. That's a better term. It looks like a Nintendo 3DS. And what you can do with it, you can download, Android games and play them on there. And if you have an HDMI cord, you can plug that in to your television set.
Yeah.
Or if you have a gaming monitor like me, you can plug that into it, and now you can go ahead and rock your game that way.
Cool.
And you can also, it supports controllers. So you can hook up a Xbox or PlayStation controller, and you can be gaming just like you would turning your phone into a console.
That's cool.
So because of that, that's really hurting the games too, because the Google Play Store has millions of these digital games, and some of them will give the consoles a run for their money.
Yeah.
As far as the presentation and the graphics and everything, is ridiculous.
See, folks, you're getting deep market analysis on the gaming industry here.
There you go. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is. So they're hurting a lot of
We'll have to go. We'll look at our next area of expertise. Let's look at the Chick-fil-A stock. Let's look at the nice. Baconator futures.
I know, right? But now here's something everybody likes. Facebook has a crash alert.
Good, let it burn.
Facebook finally has a crash alert, folks. Finally, we get one. And FedEx is right there with it. And so is Ford Motor Company. Poor Ford. $10 stock, folks. $10 stock. Equifax. eBay has a crash alert on it, which is interesting. Oh, Electronic Arts. EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's in the game.
They have a crash alert too. And it's funny, the EA stock is like 10 times more expensive just about than GameStop. So I think that's very telling in and of itself. Here's another one. Here's a good one though. For those that are in the marijuana space, your ticker M is in Mary, J is in John. That weed ETF bad boy has a crash alert on it too, so you may want to be on guard for that. Also, Microsoft has a crash alert. Walmart has a crash alert. Visa. Let's see what else we got here.
You doing all dailies right now?
Yeah, I'm reading off the daily
Gotcha.
only
Just
because,
checking.
like I said, a lot of things don't come in on the weekly chart, so it's just better that way. Um, yeah, it's so many. Futures, Nasdaq 100, that has a crash alert on it as well, and so does Amazon and Chipotle. All right, now there is. I did tell you that on the futures. For the futures, we had that crash alert, so I want to reiterate that
For Bitcoin.
on the Bitcoin. Yeah, we got that crash alert there.
Is there some news coming up
And
on the
Ethereum.
Bitcoin? Is there Bitcoin ETF news coming up? I saw something on Twitter. Do you know? I was trying to find it.
To be honest, heck if I know.
Yeah, I was trying to
I
find
haven't
it.
looked at
Anybody know in the chat?
chilling.
I saw a tweet this afternoon. Somebody was talking about waiting on news of the Bitcoin futures. So if anybody knows, let me know. I'm just trying to find out what's going on.
Actually,
with
hold
that
on. No, wait. I have a thing. Oh, never mind. It's downstairs. I'll look at my phone. I had this thing on my phone where I don't know what kind of app it is. It has nothing but a bunch of like Bitcoin and game stuff on it. It's really a weird little app thing. I get on my phone, but I don't have it in front of me.
Hmm.
But just be alert for pullbacks this week and just about everything. I mean, I've been Gold Spot, has a alert on it.
Stealth was saying if BTC future crashes, does that translate to normal BTC? And you're saying generally it does, right, Dex? Earlier.
Yes, the futures leads the cash market.
Okay.
Before it didn't do that.
Oh, interesting.
Because there was no futures product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see we got a million questions, so let me go back.
I think most of them I tried to. I don't know if I missed any, but.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, so based on your explanation, I might as well wait a few days before I actually buy crypto in order to fund my trading account. Reason why I ask is where I buy for fiat, there's only a buy now option for BTC and Ethereum and a few more of the big ones. No stops offered until I get it to Binance. Ooh, I would never, ever suggest trading without a stop.
Well, he's not talking about trading. He's talking about funding his crypto account so he could trade. So, what he was saying is he's just getting into the market. So, what I was saying is it doesn't take that long to get that over to Binance. So, let's say you were buying Bitcoin and you wanted to get it into a stable coin like Pax or TUSD or something like that, or even Tether. It's not going to take you that long to move that over. Maybe you want to buy it a little bit at a time if you want to be really careful. But that's what I would say is, the exception being, for example, Coinbase, if you're not buying with a debit card, if you're buying with like a bank account. I don't know if it still is true because I haven't bought on there in a while. But they'll do a thing where you buy it today and get access to it on, Thursday.
Wow.
Take days, right? If that is what you're worried about, then I might be cautious. But if you're getting it fairly instantly within the next few minutes or hours, me personally, I would just buy it and send it into the Binance and then move it into a stable coin if you're wanting to maintain the value. But that's just me.
That was an excellent answer.
Thank you, Dex.
Did it say something about 4 decimal places? Did you address that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did ask you actually a follow up in there. He was saying should we round it up, and you say it's okay to round up those decimals on order entries, correct?
Yeah, you can do that.
You don't have to
Absolutely.
be that precise. Yeah.
I round all the time.
Yeah.
Even if I'm trading equities, I round all the time. Yeah. Round. You always want to round up when you're buying. These are for initial positions, meaning you're buying something to initiate a new position. I always round up when I'm buying, and I round down when I'm selling.
Barry's asking for Paragon PRG on the crypto sheet. Oh, I was just talking to Kung Fu. Do we have BTT on the crypto sheet? Yes, we do. Okay, cool. He was telling me he's very interested in that, so I was checking it out.
I'm going through all these questions here.
Yeah, smart, Tobias. Yeah. If it all depends on how quick you're able to get it.
Someone said, "How about a hardcore advanced weekly sheet tutorial?" Haven't we done? Didn't we do that like in the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know that I have it broken out as like a special video, so it might be something we can do in the near future and then break it
Well,
out.
I know I have it in the trading room
Oh
files.
yeah, good point. Yeah, let me. You know what? Good point, because that hasn't changed very much in a while, right?
It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, here I'll show you right now. Who is asking for that?
Somebody in the chat.
So here we go. I don't know how to say his name there. I also can't see it from where I'm sitting. Arc. too many consonants, buddy. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, good. All right, cool. He's calling us mate, so he must be one of our Aussie friends. He must be. Yeah, love it. All right, so if you're seeing my screen there, mate, you go to the library, and all this getting upgraded soon. But for now, you want to go to here, how to read the sheets. These are the older ones.
Yep.
And there you go. Here's Dex's how to use. No, that's the easy sheet. Although that doesn't look like that. That's
the advanced sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, it says easy sheet, but that's not the easy sheet. That's the advanced sheet. So, and then right here, advanced training. So, 39-minute video that Dex did, and it doesn't look like it's changed at all. So,
I haven't.
Good.
That sheet is when we came over. That sheet never changed because that's the original sheet. The only thing that changed is that I added the easy sheet, which never existed before.
Right. Jeff says, what about BTT, Frank? Just Kung Fu was very bullish on it in general. And Kung Fu's pretty smart about these things. And so I was interested in trading it myself. So that's why I asked.
AMD. We got a good question on the AMD. It said it has a rally alert on the weekly sheet and a crash alert on the daily sheet. How should we interpret that? I don't plan to buy right now based on what you said about expecting pullbacks. But, okay, let's break it down. That's a very good question. All right. When you look at the weekly sheets, the weekly sheet outlook is saying at some point between Monday and Friday, if you have a crash alert, the system is expecting the market to pull back at some point this week. So in this example, you have a rally alert on the weekly sheet. So it's saying that the system expects the market to rally at some point this week. But the daily sheet has a crash alert for tomorrow. So what that is saying that is the daily system is expecting the market to pull back to start the week off. But then as the week goes on, the weekly system is saying we're expecting the market to rally at some point. So I'm expecting the sell-off or pullback first, then the rally. Now, the market can go in any order at once, but that's just what it's saying. Keep in mind that the daily and the weekly are two different systems. All right? Two different algo sets. Mm-hmm. All right? Each one made up of hundreds of algos. And so they're different. Also, keep in mind that as per you all's request, I do not update the weekly sheet daily. It's only done on Sunday night. But the daily sheet is updated daily.
For simplicity's sake, because I don't want people to get all up in their heads about it, it comes down to which one are you planning to trade off of in terms of which long entry and stop loss are you going to use, right, Dex?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I could literally update the weekly sheet. I mean, technically speaking, I could just put out one sheet and let it be the weekly and update it every day. But for some people, they like to point. They like to mark points on their charts and stuff from the weekly, like a support and resistance almost. So I get that. I understand that. That's why I don't. That's why I keep it.
It's sort of the like for the sake of beginners, the easiest way is to choose. If you want to use the weekly to trade, which is a little bit less of an aggressive approach, you're kind of letting the trade take shape over the whole week, as opposed to the daily, you're updating it or placing new orders every day. So for simplicity's sake, if you're just getting started, I don't want you to get all caught up on it. It basically comes down to which sheet are you going to use as the basis for your trading.
Right.
And then there are some more advanced ways that people like to use it. But for starters, it basically comes down to which one do you want to use, the weekly.
Most people like both, and I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to use both. But, if you're just getting started and you have time to trade every day and update new orders every day, update stop losses every day, go with the daily. If you have very limited time or you don't want to spend much time doing this, a 15-minute a day trader as we call them, then the weekly is a good place to start.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
The weekly is very conservative.
Yeah. What else we want to look at, or are we ready for you to give your pulse picks? We've been talking a while.
We are pretty much done. I know.
Cool. We you got chatty today. You started out a little slow, like we were talking. You're like, yeah, and then you got all excited. The market's got you going, man.
You can tell I'm passionate about this, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking to short the stock indexes this week, as the system allows. That's what I'm looking to do this week, and that's going to be my primary focus. I'm also going to be taking a look at gold and bonds. I'm going to look at those and see, because if the stock market is going to be in crash mode, then the bond market and the gold market should be in rally mode. So I'm going to be looking for action in those three markets. That's where my focus is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more.
Wait, I wasn't paying attention. What'd you say?
I'm done. Click up.
I was taking a question.
I hung up.
I'm sorry, bro. I had a question in my private chat, and I got distracted.
Okay. Am I that boring?
No, you're very exhilarating, Dex.
Now we have to talk about my feelings. I was trying to avoid talking about feelings, but now I have to talk about my feelings. Sometimes, Frank, I feel like you don't appreciate me, and
I appreciate you. You're a beautiful man.
You disrespect me, and it's
true.
Hurtful. It's really hurtful.
It's because I'm jealous.
Just because I'm not as tall as you. Just because.
How would you even know that?
I have to sit in a car seat.
Wait, are you that short that, having not met me, you're jealous of my height, not knowing how tall I am?
I'm 2'3". Okay, your toddler is probably taller than me. All right,
probably. See, I didn't know about this aspect of I didn't know that you had this complex. So
I'm an elf, and yes, we have complexes.
Hey, I'm
a gnome elf, so we're shorter.
So what are you looking to pulse pick this week? I'm sorry, because I have to write it down.
Okay, I'm looking to short that E-mini Nasdaq 100. Looking to get short that.
That's the NQ.
So I'm
NQ1?
really looking to short the tech sector here.
That's the NQ1.
Yep. I'm tongue tied now. It's the NQM 9, I guess. This is 19. If you're trading on the future side, that's the front month. We're in the June contract. June contract is the letter M as in Mark. Soon to be switching over to September, which is U as in umbrella.
What? I'm lost because I can't find it.
Yes. Commodity futures do not.
It's not just this NQ1 that I got here?
You can use the NQ1. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But that's the continuous contract. But so I'm looking to get short the E-mini Nasdaq 100, and or it's if I can't catch the NQ short, then I'll get in and I'll try to short either the QQQ or get along the QUID, which is QID. Then I'm going to be looking to buy gold, ticker GLD, and maybe bonds, ticker TLT. So we'll see what manifests itself this week. But those are the three that I'm primarily going to be looking to operate in, just to see what manifests itself.
Any cryptos?
No, I gave you one futures and I gave you two equities.
Okay.
TLT and GLD are ETFs. I don't actively trade cryptos. I own some Veritasium, and that's it. I think I've already disclosed that before. I do not actively trade cryptos at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I do actively trade Forex, and I do actively trade futures and equities.
Right.
But not in the cryptos. I do own some blockchain. I do own GBTC, which is the Bitcoin ETF. I do own that in my own personal account.
Mm-hmm.
And someone says, will I operate in cryptos at some point? Yeah, I'll have a more active role. Right? Like I said, I own some Veritasium, and I do own shares in GBTC. So I am participating in the crypto space. I just haven't been actively trading in the crypto space, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, since we brought up Forex, I'm also looking to possibly short the euro yen and also take a short position in the euro. So it just depends.
When you say the euro, what pair is the euro dollar? What pair?
Euro USD, euro
USD.
dollar. Yeah. When I say euro, I mean euro dollar.
Yeah,
euro.
Yeah. I actually had a question on the Forex sheet. We have the yen dollar at number 32 and then the dollar yen at number 40.
What happened was, I think when I was putting that together, I was just throwing things in there. The correct symbol for the yen, the Japanese yen, is the USD/JPY.
Okay.
That is the correct yen symbol. Or on the sheet, it may just show as JPY equal sign. So JPY equal sign or USD/JPY, that is the correct symbol for the Japanese yen.
All right, cool.
The other symbol is not the Japanese yen; it's something versus the Japanese yen. All right, does that make sense?
Yep, I want to see if that's what O.A.N has.
JPY USD is not the correct yen symbol. Okay. It should be USD/JPY.
Yeah, and that's what you can trade on O.A.N. So
yes. And that thing was like this, straight down. Wow. Yep, below the cloud under mad pressure.
That would have been a nice trend to catch.
Yeah.
That's the weekly. All right, cool. All right, I think that wraps it up for us then. A lot of questions answered, a lot of stuff we looked at. You good, Dex?
Yep. Hey, Steph, I see he's the one that asked me the question, will you, at some point? That would be messed up if I told you I don't trade in cryptos, nor do I have any exposure to cryptos. That would be kind of messed up, wouldn't it? Like, so this man don't eat his own cooking? No, of course I do. Yeah, I am. I'm definitely there. And look, I know I told y'all before, and I don't like mentioning names, but there are some famous people out there, and they that I know, and face to face, they admitted to me that they don't trade the market.
Don't do anything, yeah.
But yet they're considered a guru in the market. But they don't. They lead others, but they don't participate themselves. So yeah, I just thought that was funny. That would be messed up.
All right, cool.
Any other questions?
Yes, Stealth said you don't have to trade at all. That's right.
No, but no. See, I feel that.
No, but I get what you're saying though. Like, if you have exposure to the market, you understand.
A leader,
you understand how it works.
A leader should lead by example. How am I going to lead others into battle, but I'm in an ivory tower somewhere where I'm safe? Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. You're supposed to lead your people to battle. If you're going to be a general, get in there. You know what I'm saying? Get in there. Why would I wait and watch everybody else get rich and I'm sitting around just looking out of a window? That's craziness. No, I don't get down like that. Remember, I made the system for myself first and foremost. So how would I not take advantage of stuff? There are people out there that do that though. They'll give advice and things like that, but then themselves are not exposed. I'm like, well, there's a problem there. Would you go to a restaurant where the chef didn't eat his own cooking? You wouldn't.
I'm just picturing it. Guy going, I'm not eating that. It's like something off of one of the Gordon Ramsay shows. Like, oh, I don't eat here. I had a friend. Listen, one of my favorite places in my local mall. This place that I shouldn't disclose what they do because it'll be really obvious which place I'm talking about. But I had a really good friend who worked there, and he was leaving, and he was like, "Listen, Frank, when I'm gone, you really shouldn't eat here anymore."
Wow.
And I was like, why? He's like, dude, the guy taking over from me, he doesn't know how to. He's like, he's not clean. He's like, he doesn't care like I care. He's like, seriously, don't eat here when I'm not here. I'm like, all right, bro. I have not been there since. It's been like 2 years since I used to eat at that place like every day, and I haven't been there since.
I remember this restaurant is closed down now. I remember I went to the men's room while we were waiting for my food, and I seen one of the chefs come out of the stalls.
No.
Walked right past me and went right out of that bag.
That is it for me, man.
I was like, man, we up out of here.
Good night. No check, please. I'm leaving.
I'm out. I'm out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, okay. Here's a question. They can't find the NASDAQ. Okay. For the NASDAQ 100 futures contract, the ticker is NQ.
This is the one that I had on TradingView was NQ1. That was the one.
That's just because that's what they have in it.
Yeah.
But the universal symbol, folks, if you want to, the tradables is what we call them. All right. On the equity side, the ETFs. Okay, the QQQ is the long NASDAQ. You buy that if you believe the tech sector is going up. If the QQQ is too expensive for you, the other one is the QLD. That's Qbert, Larry, David. QLD. That's the Pro Ultra Long NASDAQ 100. And the inverse NASDAQ 100 is the QUID. Q is in Qbert, I is in Indian, D is in David. That's the ProShares inverse ETF. You buy that when you believe that the tech sector is going down. All right, and the S&P 500 has its. All right, the E-mini S&P 500 futures symbol is E. That's Edward, Sam. So ES. The ETF correspondence for those. The long one is SPY. The ultra long is the SSO. And the inverse ETF is SDS. Sam, David, Sam. For the Dow Jones, the long ETF symbol for that is DIA. And the ProShares Ultra Long is DDM, as in Mark. And the inverse ETF is DXD, David X-Ray David. That's the inverse ETF for the Dow. For the Russell, the long one is IWM. All right, and the inverse ETF is TWM. And I believe the ultra long one is UWM, I believe. But definitely the inverse is TWM and the long is IWM. And those are all in the sheet, on the equity sheet. Oh, and by the way, you guys, for those of you who probably didn't even think about it, every mega sheet has a tab with the symbol listings for you, divided up.
What do you mean?
It has symbols. So if you're looking for...
Oh, the symbol tab, yeah.
Yeah, there's a symbol tab. And I think I put one there for inverse ETFs, folks. So this on the equity sheet, pull up the tabs in the equity sheet, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There should be a tab there for inverse ETFs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I think we're good to go. Head over to watchustrade.io to get in the room. If you're watching this on YouTube, we would love to have you. As I have been warning, if you get in right now, you get access to all 5 sheets, one low monthly price. That is about to change because we've been practically giving this stuff away. It's embarrassing how much we've been giving away. So get in and you'll get grandfathered in on that pricing because we're building a nice new website and some new stuff coming up. And the price is going to go up, though. We're gonna have to price this more like grown-ups pretty soon. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're not part of the room, we would love to have you. Go to watchustrade.io before we change our name and change our website and update our pricing. So it's a good time to get in. Consider things essentially on sale. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back soon during the week. Check in with us here. Check in with us at our other YouTube channel, and we'll see you all soon. We're over, and we are out. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Thanks for watching. To sign up for one of our live trading demos or to just join the room so that you can get in and trade with DEX, go to watchustrade.io. Thanks.